Hey guys, happy Tuesday. I hope you've had a good day today and that you've been able to spend some time with the Lord and in His presence, through His Word, through worship, and through prayer. We're going to talk about the daily reading today, and the chapters that are assigned for today were Judges, chapters 10 through 12. When you look at the story of Jephthah, of what he went through, it's specifically chapter 11, it's pretty striking, and there's some controversial things in there as well. What you see in the beginning is that he was cast away from his father's house. His family kicked him out basically because his mother was a harlot, and so they didn't deem him worthy to be there. But God still blessed him and used him and called him to be a mighty warrior. He was able to accomplish things because God's hand was upon him. So you can see that you learn from him that there's courage in the face of adversity. Despite being rejected by his family, he becomes a courageous leader who's willing to stand up for his people and fight for freedom. The very people who rejected him, he stood up for, and he went and fought people for them, right? He fought the king that was coming against them. It teaches us that we can encourage one another, and even those who come against us, we can still show the love of Christ to them. Leadership and negotiation. You can see that his leadership skills were very evident in how he negotiated with the elders of Gilead before even agreeing to lead them. And it shows us the importance of effective communication and negotiation in leadership roles. You can also see that later he didn't have some good leadership roles, in the sense that he made a vow to the Lord that was kind of foolish and not well thought through. But in verse 29 of chapter 11, it says, "The Spirit of the Lord came upon him." This was a source of his courage and can be the source of our courage as well. When we are overcome with fears and anxieties, we can go before the Father. And as Jephthah filled his life with the Lord and with his presence, we can fill ours with the Holy Spirit, with Jesus. And because of him, we can walk away from those anxieties. We don't have to live a life full of worry and anxiety. He also showed that when he made a vow, he kept it, which was good and sad at the same time. Now, the controversial part was the fact that he made a vow to the Lord that whatever walked out of his house when he came back from being victorious, that he would allow that to be a burnt offering before the Lord. And if you read that chapter, you see that it was his daughter who came through that door. So learning from his mistakes, you can see that we should be cautious by our words. Like, we can't make rash vows or decisions. His actions should teach us to think things thoroughly, think things through. Don't be rash. and be careful what you say, because words matter. You know, when we make a commitment to someone, our words should be our bond. Our yeses should be yeses. Our noes should be noes. But we also should not just, in our passion and excitement, say things that we don't follow through on. And when we do say things, make sure that it's something that we can follow through on. So I hope that you've been encouraged by this, that you can read chapter 11, you can read through his life, that you can see that this was a man that God had called. This was a man that his hand was upon, and he used him to do mighty things, and that people could see that he was set apart. That even though in his circumstances he could have chose to be the opposite of a righteous man, he decided to do what was right. He decided to push forward, not allow his circumstances to dictate who he was, but instead he rose above his circumstances, and he was a mighty warrior. Not just a warrior for his people, the people that he was leading at the time before Gilead, but also for the Lord. But you can also see that even in that, we can make mistakes. And he made a mistake with that vow without thinking through. And so let that be an encouragement and something that challenges you, that as you move forward, that you remember that your words hold power, and that when you say you're going to do something, you need to do it. But also be careful what you say you're going to do. Make sure it's something you can do. I love you guys. I hope you can be encouraged by this and challenged, and I hope you have a wonderful